What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld, and right now we're going to be talking about the AP changes that are coming to Madden 22 Ultimate Team very, very soon. I do expect them to do something about Gunslinger. I think that you guys can help with that by reaching out to Madden NFL Direct. I think that's what the Twitter is. Madden NFL Direct, I think it is. That they posted a tweet asking about what changes do we think should be done for, things like, Gunslinger, Acrobat, whatever the abilities are that you think should be tuned or whatever. That's what they're looking to change up. I just want to let you guys understand that realistically, based on archetypes of players, if you just want to go like simplistically, I think the Madden development team got it right initially by letting the archetype correspond to what the ability costs. Remember when, Gunslinger was just 1 AP for a strong arm QB? That means any other archetype that's not, that archetype should, it should go up based on that. And if they want to play around with it with other archetypes, that's fine. But it gives you the opportunity to get a card based on what you want on your squad. For some of you guys, the release may not be the biggest issue. I've seen people stay with, other cards all year and not use Gunslinger. And that's fine. Set feet lead for some guys. It pretty much works a little bit better for you. That's fine. But with the way that they have it right now, starting the year off with 4, I think that this is a problem. For me personally, because it doubled obviously from last year, but it should just be based on what the player's archetype is, and anything outside of that stratosphere should raise in AP, and then it will balance itself out because you won't be able to get an inside Deadeye for 1 or something. Maybe they'll change that up, but regardless of what it is, I really am a firm believer that, a scrambler, if you're a scrambler archetype, Escape Artist should be 1. If you're a Field General, Tom Brady, Hot Route Master should be 1. It shouldn't be additional just because, for whatever reason they wanted to raise it more. And right now is the time to take a look at some of these things. Now it starts to get a little bit interesting when you look at the other abilities that are available for other players, because most people don't even talk about, abilities like All Day and stuff like that. But these abilities are really, really good. People focus more on Secure Protector, Nasty Streak and stuff like that, but All Day actually works. And people are not really talking about it as much because a lot of people are still living in the past and they're thinking about the nasty streak of Madden 20 and people getting pancaked and all that kind of stuff, and they're not looking at what really goes on with the game when you add certain abilities. So I don't really think that any of these are going to be affected, because I don't think it's really, like, people are not really complaining about this type of stuff. Like Secure Protector, I believe is going to stay there. Nasty Streak, I believe is going to stay there as well. I don't really see much happening to the O-line. I'm just going to go down through, the players and the positions to try to give you an idea of what I'm trying to say. Like Reggie Bush, he's what is he? Is he an elusive back or a receiving back? Okay, so he's a receiving back. So he gets that back, the backfield master for 1. That's beautiful because it directly corresponds to what he's supposed to get. Funny thing is, I don't see why people wouldn't complain about this. If you're going to complain about Gunslinger being 1 AP, this ability is really good too. You've seen guys come out and throw it right in the coverage with them and it's better catching, so they catch it. But that's what it should be. It should correspond directly to the archetype, so I have no problem with that. Going through the rest of them, with the wide receivers, it's kind of iffy. I say that because a guy like Calvin, they changed him from a deep threat to a physical receiver. So I don't know if they're going to play around with matchup nightmare or whatever, but a lot of these abilities don't really work anyway, other than the obvious ones like Outside Apprentice, obviously. Maybe you can make that 1 instead of having that at 2. Why are you charging 2 for it? You know what I'm saying? Like, he should get that. Like, that's what it is. Like, what's going on with that? But whatever. With the rest of these, they might try to look at short in because people are getting wide open for no apparent reason, and I know a lot of people are complaining about that. But if they nerf it or they add more AP to it, all that's going to happen is people won't use it. You'll just sacrifice it because there's not a lot of ability points available. Now, if they plan on raising the AP when they do the ability, raising points, it might work out similar to what they did with Acrobat. But I don't really feel that they should be playing around unless they're going to start taking away, AP points for the cost of abilities. I don't really know what they're doing. And with the vertical threat, the possession receivers obviously get the tight end apprentice for 1. So this, I don't feel that they're going to change anything with that. They, like I said, I don't really think that these positions are really the ones that people are going crazy about. I think right now the primary focus is honestly the whole Gunslinger thing being 4. I think that's what really caught people off guard. The zone archetypes and mid-zone, again, for me, I am a firm believer if the zone archetype is yours, the abilities that come with it, it should just all be one. Mid zone should be one, deep zone KO should be one, because that's the archetype. Now, if you got a man-to-man corner and you want to make them get that, yeah, 2, 3, whatever, like that. Because now you can have shutdown corners for completely different archetypes and different bases. Like, dude, if you play a team that's running a lot of plays that you have to man up, you could go more to that man corner and sub him in and have him like one-on-one with his abilities on a guy that's just trying to hit you with slants and drags. In zone coverage, if you got a guy that's trying to hit you with like nasty mid routes, you can have that other side guy with a mid zone, with a deep zone KO and stuff like that. And then you can start making the players play ultimately like they're supposed to. Because theoretically, he should get all of these mid zone and deep zones and all this stuff for one. Because that is his archetype, and he should be able to get all 3 of them for 3. So that he can play the way that his archetype states. That's what I believe. Because now it urges us to actually look at the archetype before we just start buying them. You're not just out there just buying stuff anymore. You're actively looking to make sure, okay, this one works for me this way. That's how this works. If I have a man-to-man corner that I really, really like, I have to spend extra. And then it starts to make the game come together for you, and it makes a little bit more sense. In any other aspect, I don't really see it making much sense. As far as the edge threat and stuff like that, they haven't really bothered the abilities of the guys. As far as making edge threat 3, it's the same exact thing. El Toro, because it's a speed rusher, it's going to be more. Because obviously the power rushers get it for 2. I don't really see much going on here. Double or nothing, I understand why they raised this. Because for the most part, in Madden 20, Madden 2021, like people were taking advantage of it when it was less, and like having it on that whole team. And sometimes it just like it created an imbalance. So that's why they, made it 4 AP. I don't really think they're gonna bother that, because people were going crazy with that. Because if it all activated at the same time on the same play, everybody was coming directly in. So they had to do something about that. So I don't really see that being changed, because you don't want to make it a situation where everybody is running with it on every single player on their team. So that right there, it is what it is. As far as man-to-man corners, like I was saying before, the one step ahead, right? When you think about Deion Sanders, this is what I want you guys to imagine, right? For those of you guys that didn't grow up watching Deion, I had the pleasure of being able to watch him play. This man was locked down. You know what I'm saying? Darrell Green, like all these dudes, these old school dudes, Champ Bailey, all these guys that were out there, Darrell Revis, they were locked down. They should get these abilities for 1 AP. You can keep the training cost the same. Acrobat can stay as 2, because again, you don't want to make it OP, so you can keep that as 2. But corresponding to what they did, that should be 1, the short KO should be 1, and the mid KO should be 1. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would medium route KO be 2? You see, this is what I'm saying. Mid zone on a zone archetype is 1, but medium route KO on a man-to-man corner is 2. It's just simplistic things that doesn't make sense. Now, as far as one step ahead, I would probably say 2. I wouldn't feel comfortable saying 1, because all of these players, like Darrell Revis, he wasn't the fastest guy. You know what I'm saying? Unless they want to specifically go by the actual speed of the card and not just the archetype, I would be comfortable with making 1 step ahead too. For a man-to-man corner. A zone corner, I would have no problem making it before, because a zone corner is not really focused on that man-to-man concept. You know what I'm saying? But this doesn't make sense to me. Medium route for 2 when, mid-zone KO is 1 on a zone archetype. Like, it just seems weird. So everything is kind of up and down. And I think what EA is doing is trying to assess the amount of the abilities and where they're used, and trying to correlate it through that regard. And that's what's really creating the confusion. But as far as that goes with the corner, man-to-man versus zone, those are my opinions. I think they should get every single one of their every single one of their abilities that corresponds to their archetype for 1. 1 step ahead is outside of the archetype, because not all man-to-man corners were speedsters. So that being 2, that's fine. But 4 just seems excessive on a man-to-man corner. Zone corner, okay, give it to him for 4. That's fine. Other than that, I don't really see them really playing around with a lot of other things. But you guys can help a lot. If you watch this video, please find that tweet from Madden NFL Direct and answer it. Let them know what you feel about Gunslinger. Gunslinger should not be 4 in any aspect. A scrambler should get escape artist for 1. It should correspond directly to its archetype. That's what I believe. Let me know what you think about it. And until next time, be safe, be well. One love, y'all.